True scary stories from people who were home alone. The footsteps. It always begins with silence. That heavy, suffocating quiet of an empty house when the clock ticks too loudly and every floorboard seems to breathe beneath your weight. 16-year-old Emily had been left alone for the night, her parents out late for the first time in months. She told herself she wasn't afraid. This was just a house, her house, the same place she slept every night. But the house felt different when no one else was in it. The shadows stretched longer. The rooms seemed wider, emptier, as if waiting for something to step inside them. Emily curled up on the living room couch, scrolling her phone, trying to ignore the prickle creeping up her neck. She told herself it was nothing, but her eyes kept drifting toward the staircase. Every time she glanced up, she swore she saw something, a flicker of movement in the corner of her vision. Too fast to catch, but too deliberate to be her imagination. At first she tried laughing it off. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe she was just paranoid. But the laughter died in her throat when she heard it. Footsteps. Not loud. Not clumsy. Soft. Slow. The unmistakable rhythm of someone walking upstairs. Her heart slammed against her chest. She froze, every muscle in her body locking tight as her ears strained against the silence. The steps came again, dragging slightly across the floorboards above her head. One step. Then another. Then another. Emily sat perfectly still on the couch, her phone screen glowing against her pale face. She wanted to call someone, her mom, her dad, anybody, but her hands wouldn't move. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized something terrible. She had locked the front door after her parents left. Every window was shut tight. There was no way anyone could have gotten inside, unless they'd been here the whole time. The steps stopped. The silence pressed down on her until she thought she'd suffocate. She slowly rose from the couch, her bare feet pressing into the carpet, each movement trembling. She picked up a fireplace poker, gripping it with clammy hands. For a long moment, nothing. The air was thick, charged, as though the whole house was holding its breath. She told herself to be brave. She told herself she had to check. Step by step, she climbed the stairs. Each creak of the wood beneath her feet felt like a scream in the silence. At the top of the stairs, she hesitated. The hallway stretched before her, dark and endless, every door slightly ajar. Her bedroom door stood open, black as a mouth. Emily swallowed hard and whispered, "Hello?" The word was swallowed instantly, devoured by the silence. She took a step forward, then another. As she neared her room, she heard it again, footsteps. But not ahead of her. Not in the room. Behind her. She spun around, poker raised. The hallway was empty. The staircase behind her was empty. The whole house silent. Yet the sound had been real, close enough to feel the vibration in the floor. Her breathing came fast and shallow. She felt sick, dizzy, her skin prickling with cold sweat. She told herself to move, to run, but her body wouldn't obey. Something was wrong. Something was deeply wrong. The air shifted, a chill sweeping across her skin. Her bedroom door creaked wider, though no hand touched it. Inside, the dark seemed to thicken, pressing outward, almost alive. And then she heard it. A whisper. Not words, just the suggestion of them. A low, rasping sound, close to her ear though nothing stood beside her. She staggered back, clutching the poker, her pulse screaming in her ears. The whisper came again, clearer this time. Her name. Emily. The sound slithered through her, cold and intimate, like a hand brushing her spine. She wanted to scream, to run, to do anything, but she couldn't. She was frozen, staring at the black doorway of her room as the air thickened with something ancient, something wrong. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, making her jump so hard she nearly dropped the poker. Fumbling, she pulled it out. A new notification. A text from an unknown number. It read, "Don't look at it." Her blood turned to ice. Her trembling thumb hovered over the screen. She didn't want to reply, didn't want to know more, but another message came instantly. "It's watching." Her head whipped around, scanning the hallway, the staircase, the shadows stretching across the ceiling. Nothing. Nothing but silence. And yet she knew it was true. She could feel it. A weight pressing on her chest. Eyes crawling across her skin. Her phone buzzed again, but this time she didn't look. She shoved it back in her pocket, clutching the poker tighter. The whisper came again. Louder. Stronger. "Emily." Her bedroom door groaned as it opened wider, the dark spilling into the hallway. For the briefest moment, she swore she saw something in that blackness. A shape. Too tall. Too thin. Standing impossibly still. She blinked and it was gone. But the air told her it was still there. Her phone buzzed once more. Against her better judgment, she glanced at the screen. If you think this story is terrifying, you're nowhere near prepared for what comes next. Make sure you subscribe because this nightmare isn't over, it's just beginning. Emily's chest rose and fell in panicked gasps. She stumbled backward, unable to tear her eyes from her bedroom doorway. The shape, or whatever it was, shifted in the dark. Not forward, not back, just enough to remind her it was real. And then the footsteps started again. Slow, heavy, coming closer. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. And the whisper, so close now it felt like it was inside her skull. You shouldn't be here. Emily gripped the poker with white-knuckled desperation as the dark pressed outward, ready to consume her. And then, the lights went out. The thing in the dark. The house drowned in blackness. Emily's breath came fast and shallow as she fumbled in the dark, her fingers clawing the air, desperate for anything familiar. Her phone screen lit up for a second, just a small glow, but even that was enough to see it. A shadow. Not cast by her. Not cast by anything she could understand. It stretched across the hallway wall, impossibly tall, its limbs bending wrong, its head brushing the ceiling. And though the light was faint, the shadow turned, slowly, toward her. The phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. The screen went black. The shadow remained. Emily stumbled backward until her spine pressed against the wall. Her heartbeat was so loud she was sure it would give her away, but the thing already knew where she was. She could feel its gaze, thick and suffocating, like claws pressing into her skin. The air grew colder. Her breath came out in pale white clouds. And then, just as her eyes adjusted to the dark, she realized something terrifying. The shadow wasn't standing still anymore. It was moving. The limbs stretched unnaturally, scraping across the ceiling, bending around corners that should have been impossible. The shadow crawled along the walls, dragging itself closer without a sound. Emily gripped the fireplace poker until her knuckles bled white. She wanted to scream, but no sound came out. All she could do was watch as the shadow reached the floor in front of her, twisting upright, blotting out the hallway as though it had weight, substance, hunger. And then the whisper came again. Emily. Her legs gave way and she slid down the wall, curling into herself, praying it would stop, praying it would vanish. But the shadow didn't stop. It leaned closer, and as it did, she heard more than one voice. Dozens, hundreds, layered whispers speaking in unison, filling her skull. Too many voices to understand, except for one repeated phrase, crawling across her mind like insects. We see you. Her phone lit up again, though she hadn't touched it. The screen glowed with another text. It's not just in your house anymore. Emily snatched the phone, her hands trembling so violently she nearly dropped it again. Another text appeared. It's in the story now. Her eyes blurred with tears as she whispered, "Please stop, please." And the phone buzzed one final time. We see them too. Her blood turned to ice. Them. The air in the house shifted violently, as if something enormous had sucked all the warmth out of the walls. Doors slammed one by one down the hallway, each bang echoing like a gunshot until only her bedroom door remained open. The shadow moved inside. Emily knew she should run, but her body refused. She felt her limbs heavy, as though something invisible pinned her to the floor. The poker slid uselessly from her grasp. And then she saw it. For the first time, truly saw it. In the doorway of her room, lit by the faintest shimmer of moonlight, the thing stood. No longer a shadow. No longer hiding. Its body was wrong, impossibly stretched. Its face smooth and empty except for the suggestion of a mouth. A mouth that spread wider and wider, until it looked like a black void splitting its head in two. From that void came the sound. Breathing. What? Hungry. Emily clutched her chest, shaking as her vision swam. She couldn't look away. The thing took one step forward, the floorboards groaning beneath its impossible weight. And then everything stopped. The house went silent. The thing didn't move. It just stood there watching. Emily realized with dawning horror that it wasn't moving because it didn't need to. It had already won. Her phone buzzed again in her hand. Slowly, with trembling fingers, she lifted it to her face. The screen was blank. Completely black. And yet, words began to appear, written as though by an unseen hand. They're watching too. Everyone hearing this story. Everyone who let it in. Emily's stomach dropped as she realized the truth. The story wasn't hers anymore. It wasn't just inside her house. By listening, by watching, it was inside yours. The lights flickered back on for only a split second, and when they did, the thing was gone. The hallway stood empty. Her room untouched. The house silent. But Emily knew better. She knew it hadn't left. She knew it never would. Because some things don't need doors. They don't need windows. They just need your attention. And now it had yours. Do you feel it? That chill along your spine? The whisper just behind your ear? That isn't your imagination. That's it. It followed you from this story. It's here now. It's in the silence between your heartbeats. And if you turn too quickly, you might just see it standing there, waiting. You're not alone anymore. And neither am I. If you dare to keep listening, don't forget to subscribe. You'll need it, because this nightmare has only just begun.